What's going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS podcast and live stream recording here for Monday's 7-game main slate. James, good weekend this weekend here. Me, obviously, out there, we don't just do NBA DFS in these parts here. We dabble in other sports, some esports, some NFL, some MLB, some NHL. NHL touts during the All-Star break. Those things happen for us here.
True.
I'm also apparently a golf pundit now.
You are a golf pundit now. You are.
Now, all full credit goes out to Drew Phelps there. Just another fantastic PGA DFS playbook that he put together for everybody. Came in second in a $20 GPP. It goes even further into the point that I made on, I want to say it was Friday, kind of breaking down tournament structure and game theory and like selecting the right contests. I didn't enter the main $20, 100K, 35,000 person contest. If I entered that, my lineup would have come in, I think it was 125th, and it would have won like $350, which is still great return on a $20 entry. Instead, I entered what was the second version of the main $20 contest, which only had 2,800 people in it, a drastic drop-off in the amount of people that I'm going up against. And I come in second and win $4,000. Same exact lineup in a what is essentially the same sort of contest, but because there were fewer people and it paid out a higher percentage of people, my lineup did better. Why? Because I wasn't competing against 35,000 lineups. I was competing against 2,500 lineups. So if you have a chance, go check out the Discord. Understand, go read the post that I did. I think it was on Friday, breaking down, what is the right contest selection, what you should be looking for. Because I said, the key point of that was like these sites, they blind you with the top payouts. Yes. It would have been great to win $100,000. My lineup, which came in second in this tournament, was 100 points less than the lineup that won the 100K. Right, like you have to hit the lottery to win $100,000, and because I played the smaller contest with the higher percentage of payout, it ended up earning me more money. So finding the right contest is something that James and I push a lot. Again, I did a little bit of a write-up and an explanation on that. I even put it in one of our favorite tools in our Discord there. Shout out Roto Grinders. You know what? They make a good product with that widget. No other site that I know has an add-on widget for Google Chrome that gives you right into that interface, breaking down the contest details, the percentage of payouts, and all those things. Like, it's got to get added on to your Google Chrome browser. It just makes it a lot easier identifying the tournaments to attack. You and I have talked about that a few times. That's just another example of it going through. And, how would have my lineup done in this one? Not nearly as good because there's so many more people, and it paid out 20% instead of 25% sort of thing, So definitely good to go look out there. So had a good little weekend. Have now a bit more of a bankroll. Play some NBA DFS this week. And we have a pretty good week of slates here. Wednesday is the only day where we have more than 7 games on a slate. Right in that wheelhouse zone that James and I talk a lot about here. We're kicking off with 7 games here today. We have some injury news that's already out. And we have one of our favorite players of all time finally stepping back on the floor after like a 2.5-year absence. Jonathan Isaac is going to be available and expected to play tonight for Orlando against the Boston Celtics. He has center-only eligibility on DraftKings here, which is kind of frustrating because I think the last time we saw Jonathan Isaac, he was a small forward, power forward. Yeah. But for those of you who maybe are new to NBA...
That was 10 years ago.
Haven't really followed it as closely. Jonathan Isaac was on his way to just being an absolute freak. He's like a 7-foot stretch. Even though he didn't shoot great from three-point range at the G League, he gave you blocks, steals, rebounds. Like he's a DFS darling. He was a great play on FanDuel. Excited to have him back. Just in the player pool. He's not somebody that I'm gonna end up playing today. Obviously, $4,400 is where he's priced out at. I want to see how their rotation with Orlando works, where they're actually gonna play him. But he's a guy that could rack up a lot of fantasy points in a very few minutes of play. Fantasy point per minute freak. So, good week here on Monday. Let's kick it off with getting Jonathan Isaac just back on the floor.
Yeah, I can't wait to read his book about his return. It's going to be a great one. Jonathan Isaac Book Club. It's probably never been better than it is right now. shifting our attention to Vegas. Almost every game is insane in terms of totals. Every game currently sits at 232 or better. The slate low is Boston Orlando at 232. The slate high, Memphis Sacramento opened at 245 and a half. 241 in San Antonio, Portland. Portland collapsed last night against the Lakers. There's a lot of turmoil going on in Portland right now. There was a lot of interesting comments after the game by Damian Lillard and the media. So that should be interesting.
Lost 3 straight games. I mean, they had an actual win streak there for a little bit. So, I mean,
they were up by 20 on the Lakers in the first half, and they lost. 238 and a half in Chicago, Atlanta. 237 and a half in Utah, Charlotte. 234 currently in Houston, Minnesota. So every game looks good. Biggest favorites on the board, Milwaukee. They're 11-point.
Getting everybody back here, Giannis.
Getting Giannis and Middleton. Yep. So it should be an interesting slate. They're expecting a boatload of points, so I'm excited to get into this.
All right, let's get into it here. Your top priced point guard for the day is Damian Lillard. He's at $10,100. 49, 57, 61, 56, so 60, 61. Like, he's really going off lately. As you mentioned last night, played 40 minutes, only 17 shots, 3 of 13 from 3 for the second straight day. But what we've really harped on with Lillard lately has been the free throw attempts. Really saving his fantasy managers in terms of scoring. 11 of 13, 10 of 10, 14 of 14, 16 of 16, 10 of 10, 13 of 15. What you want to see from a guy when he's struggling from the floor is attacking the rim. And when he isn't struggling from the floor, you get those 60 fantasy point games, double-digit assists, 6 or more rebounds in 2 straight. Great matchup here against San Antonio. Do you worry about anybody sitting here on a back-to-back for Portland?
Maybe. I mean, I think that can just be said right now about everybody, right?
True.
Just like
True.
What is the NBA? Even Steve Kerr was talking about it. Like, he is going to continue to rest guys if they're banged up, and he doesn't care about.
There was a tweet that went out there, and I wish I could remember the full details. But basically, when the Warriors come to town for road games, the average cost of ticket is like up like $55 or something stupid like that. So people are paying a literal premium to go see the Golden State Warriors come to town, and they're sitting there. They're sitting. It's not even like they're sitting one guy. Like, oh, Clay didn't play tonight. He sat their entire starting 5.
Like, I feel bad. Like, I obviously feel bad, and I understand, like, frustrations of fans. But I also, when I was listening to Steve Kerr talk, like, I understand his point of view, too, because you and I have been talking about it. Like, at this point, we don't need back-to-backs. Like, especially with the way the league is trending, like, people are resting, people are injured, and when people are on back-to-backs and they're at all, like, hurt at all, they're sitting. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts.
People were responding to my tweet on that the other day, saying that it was the players that were soft. I'm like, it's the organization that's making this decision.
It's the organization. They are a business. They are making business decisions. I'm sure 99% of the players would like to play. Like 99%, right? Like, literally everybody wants to play. But it's a business. Like, at the end of the day, as much as it is like we watch a game, and they play a game, like, it's their company, it's their business, everything. So I understand from both sides, but we just have to take into consideration if there is a back-to-back at this point, until the NBA addresses it, right? Until they're like, okay, Steve Kerr said, let's make a 72-game season. And then in that case, you're not probably playing back-to-backs.
Right.
Or we're just extending the season and not playing back-to-backs, right?
Like, what would it have to be? 2 weeks, maybe? Extend the season 2 weeks, you get rid of all the back-to-backs, probably, right?
I mean, there's probably less 2 off days, right? Like, you're probably, how teams are playing, like, instead of having like a Monday game and then a Thursday game, it's like a Monday and a Wednesday game, right? And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Like, that's your 4-week game. No back-to-backs though, right? And then next week it's 3. It's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
The Celtics played on the 16th and didn't play again until the 19th, right? So just haven't played on the
right.
17th. Haven't played on the 18th, you know? Like,
what is the reason for that? Yeah. But instead, it's like, okay, they're not going to play. Then they're going to play the next day. Then they're going to play back-to-back. It's like, well, we could have just avoided that by just spacing the games out. And I get it, travel and all this, but like, I think the NBA needs to come up with a better structure if this is going to continue to happen. So full circle back to Portland. I don't think they sit because they haven't really shown that. Like, they're one of the few teams that I feel like have been playing back-to-backs, especially Dame. He hasn't really sat on back-to-backs. Yeah. But it's a conversation every time we have a team on a back-to-back.
Yep, I agree with you there. John Morant at 9,700 against Sacramento. That feels like a price tag I want to pay. I know LaMelo Ball is questionable there. He could return.
Yeah, that's an upgrade because he's been doubtful the last couple slates. So
if you're looking at LaMelo versus Ja at 98, 97, you know, who do you lean more toward, assuming LaMelo is good to go?
Yeah. It's a really good spot for both.
Like, this feels like a game where we get full minutes out of John Morant, right? Like,
yeah, Sacramento's really good.
He's averaging 48 fantasy points against them, 30 actual in 3 games.
To your point, like, you've been saying it about Ja for a while, like, why isn't he doing more like in fantasy? Because he's like scoring fine and the assists are fine, but there's like nothing like ever like really together. There's been a couple triple doubles this year, but
we aren't getting enough steals out of him. I think that's the problem.
Right? Yeah, especially lately. Like, he's averaging 1, so like, you know, it's like, but I don't. If I'm gonna lean either way, probably LaMelo if he plays and there's no limitations.
Sure.
But
because there's triple double upside with him.
Yeah, and not that Ja couldn't, but like, I think just Charlotte relies more on LaMelo, where like Memphis is just a wagon, right? Like, they were down 30 in that game yesterday. So here's another potential back-to-back. Like, they were down 30 to Phoenix, and they came back and almost won that game. So I'm going to lean LaMelo if he plays, but like, I could definitely see a scenario where you get the Ja. Like you said, he's been very good against
if Ja goes for 35 tonight, he probably gets you 55. So
yep. And this is like the 4th time all year he's been under 10K. Yep. So like, it's a good price.
Yep. Any interest in Trey or Holiday?
Not Holiday, no way. Not with everyone back. Yep. Trey, you know, I feel like DeJounte's just been like significantly better than
lately.
Trey.
Yeah. Lately he's been pretty good. I mean, scoring the basketball has been great over the last like 5 games. So I don't really have interest in either of those guards. Just want to kind of eliminate them from my player pool. Yep. 8K range, you have Fox, Murray, and Rozier. Rozier obviously too expensive if LaMelo's back. If LaMelo is out, I think we can play Rozier at 8K. The guy went off, as we know, 55 fantasy points, 34 actual. Just what's in his bag when he's the main guy on the team. Fox against Memphis. You've been liking Fox a lot more than I have this year. He's coming off of one of his best games of the season. Memphis, of course, though, a really tough team, but against Memphis this season, 45 fantasy points in 35 minutes in 3 games against them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fox is a good play. This game environment's pretty good. I liked his price sitting in those low 8s more than I do in these high 8s. But he has been really good lately. 2 of the last 3 he's had at least 31 points and 45 fantasy points. So like, you can get there. I think all roads lead back to Rozier. If LaMelo sits, he was super popular the other day. So there's going to be nothing changing here if LaMelo sits.
Kevin Porter's out, going to be reevaluated in a week, so not in the consideration there for him. You got Clarkson, Russell, Simon. Interesting that Boston's going to be without both Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon, because, I mean, you have Derek White now at 5,400. I imagine locked into the starting point guard role.
Fast PP
is definitely going to come off the bench and see more minutes than we've seen from him lately. So if you want a tournament dart throw today, I think Peyton Pritchard's probably it. I bet did they bump his price at all? Nope, $3,300 for Peyton Pritchard here. He played 26 minutes against Toronto, 21 fantasy points in that game. Whenever Peyton Pritchard's had the opportunity to play more minutes, he's generally been a productive player. There was actually a story that was written about him the other day, about how he's playing the fewest minutes of his NBA career right now. Last year was like his career high, and they talked about like how he understands like on this team that is ready to go and win an NBA Finals, like Malcolm Brogdon's ahead of him, Derek White's ahead of him. Marcus Smart, I guess, has been kind of like mentoring him, being like, listen, you're not going to play on this team. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but be ready if we need you. This is a game where they need him. No Brogdon, no Marcus Smart here tonight. Derek White will start. Pritchard will be the guy off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I think both White and Pritchard should probably be pretty popular here, just considering Boston's guard depth is depleted, right? Like they can play Jalen, but they don't really play.
They tried playing Jaylen Brown at point guard one game last year, and it's an absolute disaster. I don't know
he can't dribble.
I don't know if you remember that or not, but it was an absolute disaster.
He's not the best ball handler.
I guess 20 turnovers, I think, happened.
I guess JD Davison is active.
The G League guard, yeah.
He's on their team. He played on the 14th. This is the latest. But it just feels like Pritchard and White are in for a pretty heavy workload. Even if we got Pritchard playing 24 minutes, like I feel like a 3,300.
I mean, he played 25 in a wasn't that a competitive game or no? Yeah, 106, 104. He played 26 minutes in that game. I mean,
yeah. So there's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason to think he doesn't get a bunch around here.
So. And he's a really good 3-point shooter. So like he gets hot from out there. We've seen that the Celtics like aren't always committed to Derek White. If a guy's playing better than Derek White, they'll go to somebody else. So yeah, interesting spot there. I didn't mean to skip over all the other like mid-tier guards, but I don't know, Does Clarkson, Russell, Simons, Trey Jones, I guess, is in a pretty decent spot here. Killian Hayes is questionable, but I don't know if we really want to go against Milwaukee in this spot. Like, are any of those middle guards before Derek White in your player pool today?
I mean, maybe Jaden Ivey if there is no Killian Hayes, just because he's the only ball handler available. Maybe Alec Burks in the same. We'll hold Alec Burks in the same light, right? Sure. Maybe no Killian Hayes, so they might be forced to play Alec Burks, even though they don't want to. Josh Richardson's been really good.
Yeah.
24 minutes per game, 27 fantasy points per game over his last 4. He's been what? I mean, if you look at the game log, every game in January, Josh Richardson has given you 21 fantasy points. I think Popovich is like, I can't not play you anymore. Like you're the only one. As long as
Vassell is out, he's
as long as Vassell is out, I think Josh Richardson is fine.
Plus, they're going to trade him, so they need to up his value. So
plus, they're going to trade him. Sexton randomly booms to 29 minutes. You can never predict when that's going to happen, but in tournaments, that's fine.
I mean, we were talking about Sexton. Yeah, I mean, when he came back from his injury, he played 29 or 24 minutes or whatever it is, like right away. He's been good. He had that one game against the Clippers where he struggled shooting, but everything else has been your typical Sexton game. I score and I don't really do a lot else, but I get you there.
I think that's it though. Like, barring Memphis sitting people, we've seen Memphis sit people on back-to-backs. Like obviously Tyus Jones becomes, if Josh sits, Tyus Jones is the chalk of the slate.
Sure. And
for good reason.
All right. And like we mentioned already, Pritchard's your value today at shooting guard, or point guard rather, $3,300.
Yep.
Shooting guard Zach LaVine bumped to $9,600 here. DeRozan's healthy, right? Like
they both played in France.
Yeah, I'm not going to pay 96 for LaVine. I don't know how you're feeling about him. I know.
I'm not.
Anthony Edwards here, 71 in the same matchup the other day. Could have Gobert back today, but I don't think that's going to matter. So. If you want to go in Edwards, I am not going to tell you no. So
I think it matters in like the rebounding department, but we've thought that before. It's not going to matter in like at all. It's not going to stop him from shooting 30 times.
Yeah, so. Like maybe you don't get 3 blocks here, so take away 6 points. Okay, he gave you 65. So right. It's Houston. It's just a great. This is the best DFS spot, right? It's Minnesota, Houston. So. No defense, high scoring totals. We're in. Desmond Bane at 72. I've been playing his props lately. He's been really good. What I tell you is his PRA when he plays at least 30 minutes. I sent you that screenshot. He's gone over it like every game this season.
100%.
Yeah. Still doing that. still going over the PRA. I didn't check to see what it is this morning, but if we're looking at another 30 minutes tonight, he's averaging 47 fantasy points. Oh, averaging. He played one game against Sacramento. He went for 47 fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think Desmond Bain might be the reason why it's like, I don't need to play Ja when I can just play Desmond Bain.
It's the SGA issue, right? Because Giddey's just doing too much.
Yep.
So
Yep, exactly.
I'm with you there. Simons had 31 actual. Can always throw Simons in a GPP. That's fine. He can pop off here. Huerter at 55 is a really good price tag for him. Again, we talk about it. He's had some really good ceiling games this season. Even with Sabonis playing, he goes for 35 fantasy points against Philly. This is just the best version we've seen of Kevin Huerter in his career at this point. So.
Yep.
Great price tag for him. Never really moves. I'm in on that spot there. Any other value shooting guard for you?
Diallo,
maybe? Would you take a dart on Diallo? No Stewart and maybe no Hayes today.
Yeah, probably. I think that helps. We should see Jalen Duran start at center. That means we'll probably see Sadiq Bey and Bojan start small forward, power forward. Right. It just puts Diallo on the floor more. So yeah, I would. 4,200 is not what it was. Like, it was under 4K, and that was much more comfortable. Just they don't like to extend Diallo. Like, they play him low 20s minutes almost regardless.
Yeah, unless they have
to play him mid 20s, right? But I mean, every time he's played mid 20s minutes, he's been awesome. So I'm okay getting there.
Yep. He's another one of our guys where we were super excited when he got traded, and then they never used him. It didn't make any sense. Just don't use him. Yeah. Yeah, nobody else really down here for me.
Houston doesn't play.
Had a good game the other day, but again, 26 minutes out of nowhere. So
I think it's just one of those, like, he made shots. I'm going to keep this guy on the floor.
Yeah. Yep, I'm with you there. All right, small forward. JT's at 10.9 here. I don't know. I don't think I'm paying 10.9 for Tatum. 71 back-to-back. One had no Jaylen Brown. One was an overtime game against Golden State.
Boston has a lot of guys out. Maybe Rob Williams too. Like,
yeah.
Do we think he get 19 rebounds again? Probably not. But like,
maybe a ceiling assist game. He did have a double-digit assist game earlier this month.
I think that there is merit to getting to Tatum. He's not my top spend. But I think
we didn't really go over the top spends.
There is not a lot of
11-8 coming back from an injury against Detroit. Tatum's number 2. Sabonis, Lillard are the only 4 guys over 10K.
Yeah, there's not a lot of.
And maybe you don't even spend over a 10K player today. Like, that could also be very true on this slate. So,
I agree.
Under Tatum here, we talked about Levine. We got Lauri Markkanen against Charlotte. 42 fantasy points, 22 and 11. The rebounds continue to come. I was very confused about the usage of Walker Kessler in that matchup against Brooklyn. They only played him 25 minutes. Didn't really understand why. He wasn't in foul trouble or anything. They just went with Sexton. They might have played Markkanen at the 5 or Vanderbilt at the 5 in that one.
I think Claxton was just too athletic for him, and they're just we're just gonna take you off.
Shouldn't be the issue today for Walker Kessler. He's gonna probably be one of our favorite plays of the day. But Lauri is very much in that conversation here at 94.
Yep.
As long as that rebounding continues to come, we're gonna like that spot. We didn't talk about Jaylen Brown shooting guard. Did I just miss him?
Yep, you did.
Okay. JB, do you like him better than Tatum today?
It's a good contrarian play.
Averaging 42 fantasy points in 3 games against Orlando.
Which is what, less than 5x? I mean, it's fine. Like,
it's on the borderline 5x, yeah.
I tell you this all the time. It's like Jaylen Brown has tremendous upside. Just doesn't always. I like Jaylen a lot. If no Rob Will, I think Jaylen Brown's a good rebounder, and Rob Will takes away from him a little bit. So
not having Smart or Brogdon out there also good for the rebound.
Yeah. I think
both of those are good rebounding guards.
They are. I like both. You can go either way with Tatum or
Peyton Bridges not rebounding the basketball. He's 5'9".
No, he is not. He is
DDR at $8,900. Any interest in an under 9K DeRozan averaging
Yeah, it's fine.
54 fantasy points against Atlanta this year?
Yeah, it's fine. Like I think Bulls are priced to a little too high, but
What Keldon Johnson shows up today?
The one I tweet about not hitting 40 fantasy points.
36 and 11 against Brooklyn.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Portland's in shambles, so like you can get there.
Yeah, Portland on a back-to-back,
Yeah.
There's definitely a path to that. I don't really like many Detroit against Milwaukee. Bojan's they're always just there, but I don't think I'm going to go there today.
No. You can for tournaments. I think that's fine.
Kyle Anderson went 0 for 7 shooting against Houston. It was a big disaster there. I don't think he goes 0 for 7 again, but he's also $6,300. So
feels like a fade at that. Feels like a fade at that
feels
price.
Like a fade. I agree with you. Harry B at 57. I don't mind that.
Yeah, Harry B's been pretty awesome outside of the one
averaging 30 fantasy points in 3 games against Memphis as well.
Yeah, he's been pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Gordon Hayward returned to Utah, $5,300.
I would like to see
25 minutes in his return game.
Yeah, I would like to see that like 30. I like the price. I would like Hayward more if LaMelo's not there.
He started but was on a managed minutes limit, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think LaMelo being out's the key for me because I'd rather I could just play Josh Hart at 51 instead.
Sure. KJ Martin's been really good. Eric Gordon's a small forward only. I was gonna say we missed Eric Gordon on shooting guard. With no Porter, we talked about this the other day. Both of them have been very good.
Yeah.
KJ Martin over 40 minutes and over 30 minutes now in 4 straight games. 28, 25, 29, 36 in those 4 games for him at 5K. Same exact spot he was just in, 15 and 9. And then Eric Gordon, $4,400. He had 28 fantasy points, 16 actual. Really good price. Even the dud game against Charlotte, he still gave you 19 fantasy points. Not an absolute killer. I don't think that snowflakes you. It just kind of gives you the projected number. So with no Kevin Porter, I don't mind that. I also found it interesting that our guy Tari Eason, he's a power forward, but he played 27 minutes in that game against Minnesota.
He started.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right?
Jabari Smith is questionable. So
yeah, if Smith is out again, we're gonna be hammering some of our. Tari Eason's one of our other favorite guys who doesn't play enough but should play more. So Houston, Minnesota is gonna be very stackable today, especially as we get down to the value tiers. Anybody else that's small forward for you?
If Bogdanovich doesn't play, I don't hate AJ Griffin, 3,300.
Okay.
But he needs to make shots to be viable because he doesn't really do anything else.
What do we make of Grant Williams?
I mean, it hasn't it's been interesting because Boston just if Brogdon's on, Grant Williams doesn't play, and if Derek White's on, Grant Williams and Brogdon don't play. But now there's 2 people missing. So does Grant Williams play 30 minutes again? And if he does,
if they're without Robert Williams, we know they're out without Smart and Brogdon. It feels like Grant Williams could even start this game, right?
Yeah. Yep, probably. Because they're starting Rob Will and Horford, so they would just shift Horford to 5.
Horford to the 5. Grant Williams, that's power forward. Tatum,
I do not like the price. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. No,
I don't like the price.
I agree.
But
career high 25 points scored against Toronto. So
if he's gonna start, it's a consideration. But there is the caveat. We know what Grant Williams' floor can be.
Yeah, it's single digits.
So.
All right, power forward. Giannis return game.
I wonder. I don't know what the knee has been an issue for a while, right? And then he sits out 12 days for the first time. He hadn't been sitting. They asked Budenholzer if that knee is going to be an issue. He said no, and then suddenly he sits for 2 weeks. It's oh, you just told us that wasn't going to be an issue, and then it was definitely an issue because he didn't play for 2 weeks. Right. So I don't know what to make of this. If we find out there's no limit, or if it's a monitored situation. I always feel like monitored is better because if he's being monitored and he's just dominating, they're like not going to take him off the floor. But if he's being limited, it's like, okay, then there's actually like, okay, a hard cap at this. I don't know. For me right now, it's a tournament play only, and we'll kind of wait and see. He wasn't looking great to begin with before the injury, but he has just torched Detroit. They have nothing to stop him in the front court. Like they don't have anything when they're healthy. I mean,
he scored 31 and 32 actual, 44 and 68 fantasy points against them. So.
Dude, this front court has literally no chance against him. It just all comes down to, does this game stay competitive and how many minutes is he going to play?
It's kind of why I want to play the guards for Detroit, if anybody, because the forwards are just going to be in foul trouble.
So. Yeah, they're going to be. I mean, they might not end with enough players to play.
All right. Other power forwards that we haven't discussed yet. Bobby P is at $7,600. Price just skyrocketing on him because no Giannis, so probably can't touch that one.
No.
Jaren Jackson at 73 though.
Yeah, I mean, Jaren Jackson experience last game, ladies and gentlemen. 4 fouls, 8 points.
5 and 4 fouls. So.
I mean, he is what he is. He's a tournament play, and that's it. Yep. You just can't play him anywhere else.
I agree. Grant's probably too expensive right now, given the way he's been playing. Maybe Al Horford, but no Robert Williams.
Yeah, if there's no Rob Williams, I'm fine with getting Horford. We've seen this song and dance for a couple years now. If Al Horford scores points,
right,
he breaks slates. If he scores,
yep.
If he doesn't, he's just middling. He's like a fine play, right? It's like 23 to 25 fantasy points, and it's like, okay. But if he gets you like the 16 to 20 points, he could win you a tournament. So I like Al Horford. I also want to just circle back to PJ Washington a little bit.
Okay.
Last 2 games, LaMelo Ball, 42 fantasy points in each. 23, 16, 17 actual points the last 3 games. Yeah. So I like PJ Washington.
Yeah, he's slowly working his way into guys I never get right. So I'll avoid him for the sake of the DFS community today. You can play some PJ Washington.
Appreciate it.
Power forward really isn't that great in the mid tier though today, or the value tier for that matter. Maybe Jeremy Sohan. I don't mind that at 46, 27, 28, 27 fantasy points the last 3 games. The minutes have been good. You just like the shot attempts are just the inconsistent thing, but.
Yep.
15, 16, and 16 the last 3 games at power forward. Not awful. We always say you can throw a dart in Brandon Clark. If Tari Eason starts, $3,800 will be super chalk today. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean Keegan Murray. This is the rookie. This is the rookie tier. Sohan, Murray, Tari Eason. Like depending on who's in and who's out. But
29 and 14 against OKC.
Yeah, he had a monster game against OKC, and the minutes have been what is like incredibly encouraging. 41, 37, 37 minutes in. So they're just not taking him off the floor. He had 2 double-doubles in his last 3 games. He has 23 plus fantasy points. And look, it's a really tough spot because he's going to be guarded by Jaren Jackson, and that's like not fun whatsoever. Yeah. But he's very cheap. He's playing a bunch of minutes, so I don't hate Keegan Murray just for the fact that he's on the floor so much. Sure. I think I'm with you. I like Sohan better, and if Tari Eason were to start again, he's obviously like one of the top values of the day. So I like both those guys. Interested to see what the Pistons do with Isaiah Livers. He played 39 minutes against the Knicks a couple games ago.
He started that.
Yeah, game. And now no Stewart, so maybe they do that again. Maybe they do start him again.
He's not a big guy though. He just plays. He's
not like a big guy.
6'7", I think.
Well, they just don't have like. I mean, what is their other option? I guess right. It's like Bojan, who's also 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". Yeah. So it's not like they're like blessed with depth with size unless they went like Duran, Nerlens, Noel. But how hilarious would that rotation be if they started Noel and Jalen Duran? So I guess interesting to see. We'll know early. It's a 7:00 game. So I think I would have mild interest in Isaiah Livers if he were to start, just because you have to think he probably plays some blowouts too, right? Like if he starts, they don't have other guys. So he probably just, if this game gets out of hand, he's probably
Do they still have
just
Rodney
on the
McGruder on
floor.
that team or what?
Rodney McGruder is still somehow, he's just still. Must be a great locker room guy, you know. Must be a great locker room
Who is Rodney McGruder? Yeah, center position here. Sabonis is at 10-6 against Memphis. Probably a tough spot for him. He's averaging double-double though. 12.7 points, 12.7 rebounds, 7
He just needs a triple-double. I've come to the conclusion that for Domantas Sabonis to pay this price off, he needs to triple-double. Because when you look at it, like, he's obviously doing it like every other night. So on the per the Domantas Sabonis cycle, this is a triple-double night. But look at the games where he doesn't. Like, he had 41 fantasy points in a game where, like, 16, 10, and 9, that's great. Well, he had 41 fantasy points because he doesn't get blocks or steals at all. So if you think this is a triple-double spot, run it up. I think that, but we just need it because he doesn't get you the blocks or steals. And if Jabari Smith sits, I'm just gonna play Şengün.
Well, let me ask you: does it even matter if Jabari Smith sits? I mean, Kevin Porter being out.
No, it probably doesn't.
Kevin Porter being out has been the assist thing for him, right?
Yep. Yeah, and he's played with Smith. Like, he played with Smith against the Lakers. So
he's averaging 18 and 10 against Minnesota in general. Now he went 19 and 16 against them in the last game, but he went 18 and 8. And then the first game against them, he went, 17, 7, and 5. So, like, Gobert coming back potentially doesn't really impact Şengün all that much. It'd be better if Gobert was out, though, obviously.
Correct. But, like, you're right. The offense just might run through him. He might just go, like, 10-10.
Listen, 10. I don't know what his assist prop is right now, but I've been sending you my slips. I've been playing over 5.5 assists since Kevin Porter's been out. He's hit every game. Right. So if it's at 5.5 again today, like, I'm in. I'm gonna go all in on that. So they should bump it. They just don't.
They probably should.
He gets 4 assists by halftime. Like, they just run. He's mini Jokic, as you've been calling him. So all right, he's 8,400 though. That is a big price bump for him. He's been on his way up that way, but I mean, like, you know.
Yeah, he was 8K last slate, and 70, 54, 57, right. You know, playing. And here it is, the minutes. Here, another guy that we have been screaming from the rooftops. Give him the minutes.
Yeah.
37, 39, 37, domination across the board in every facet of the game. Like, what? You know, it's like, what?
Do you play Şengün, or do you play Şengün light and Plumlee here against Utah?
I know. I guess Plumlee is just the best player in the world.
I mean, I don't know. Like, the guy's averaging 40 fantasy points the last 5 games here. 17, 12, and 3. So
no, he's awesome. He's I don't know what to say. This is
another guy trying to get traded, I think. I don't know. Like, they got Mark Williams mad at him, so he's been really good. It is a great spot for Nurkic. He's sucked though. So
he has sucked, and he was in foul trouble last night, and they've taken him off the floor.
He's been foul trouble a lot. 4, 5, 5, and 4 the last 4 games. So
they're just a nightmare right now. Yep. It's a nightmare situation right now.
They don't play Pirtle enough minutes to get there. Steven Adams. This could be a spot for Steven Adams. Has to stay on the floor here against.
Yeah. You would think they keep him on the floor, and anytime he stays on the floor, doubles.
Averaging 35 fantasy points in 3 games against Sacramento.
There you go.
16.7 rebounds per game in those 3 games. So
is that good?
It's decent. 9.3, 16.7, and a block in 3 games. So,
sounds good. That sounds pretty good.
As I mentioned earlier, all roads here tonight leading to Walker Kessler. I have to assume he'll play more than 25 minutes, but I don't know. You never know what these coaches do with their rotations.
I know.
You know, it wasn't in foul trouble. Great. Hasn't been in foul trouble lately. Great. Blocks have been there. Great. Just 2, 6, and 1. You know, against Brooklyn. Don't know what happened. He had 13 and 11 with Markkanen back against the Clippers, so it wasn't that. So I don't know. Are you worried at all about Walker Kessler here?
I don't know. Maybe. I guess we just have to worry about how rotations are in general. Some, like, he's been playing so good, and then they're just like, nah, like, you're off the floor today. And maybe it was due to the fact that Nick Claxton is just an athletic freak, and Kessler is 7'3" and isn't like mobile at all. So yeah, Tournaments only for me, 58. I thought he was a tournament play only to begin with after seeing how foul happy he could be at times.
Yeah.
So tournaments only, but definitely.
Speaking of off the floor, Naz Reid only played 15 minutes the other night. Nathan Knight came off the bench and had a big day here. If no Gobert, is this a fade spot, or do you think he just kind of, 22 and 15 minutes, only trending down for him the last 2 games here.
It's been tough because he's been in foul trouble in 3 straight games, where I know it suggests 3 fouls, but in the Toronto game, he had 3 fouls in 4 minutes.
Sure, yeah, I remember.
Half.
Yeah.
He played 18 second half minutes, so he played a lot in the second half. Houston, same thing, 2 early fouls, but then Nathan Knight catches fire, and
Garza had 3 fouls in 5 minutes against Houston, so like.
I think Naz Reid is a very, very, very good fantasy point per minute guy. I just it's just one of those things. Like he's very good on a fantasy point per minute basis, but he hasn't been able to stay out of foul trouble. So it's a tough spot. He's been popular every single slate. People aren't losing hope in him, but I think he's in our player pool, but it's definitely risky.
Jalen Duran's going to be risky, obviously, because of the matchup against Milwaukee, but he's going to start. And when he was starting, double-doubles almost nightly for him. Elite rebounding. They have to put him on the floor here until he fouls out, I would imagine. So, this isn't going to be a case where Jalen Duran plays 22 minutes because he's in foul trouble. They have to play Jalen Duran tonight. So.
Yeah, the only worry is that he missed 2 weeks, comes back, doesn't start, and only played 18 minutes. And I know they've now had 4 days since traveling back from France, and maybe the endurance is up. But I'm hoping. You would think that they need to play him.
If he starts, you'll feel a lot better about it, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yes. For sure.
Any other centers here?
Would you play John Isaac?
No.
Then Zach Collins in tournaments, if he plays the 24 minutes that he plays, he's a very good fantasy producer. So last member of your lineup in, I don't hate Zach Collins under 4K.
Yep, I agree with you. All right, let's build our lineup. Where are we beginning?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I'm thinking Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
You don't seem too convinced.
I just don't know. This is so early in the process. I think Anthony Edwards is.
Is that not the highest game total on the board today? Is that what you said?
I think it was the second. No, it's the second lowest.
Minnesota Houston's the second lowest?
Yeah, Houston's playing. Houston's 29th in pace this year. So Jesus. There's been or 20. They're low 20s. Memphis Sacramento is 245.5. And then Portland San Antonio is 241. Those are the 2 highest of the day.
Interesting. I kind of still want him to go.
I'm okay playing Anthony Edwards.
What if we go Bane, Edwards? Would you rather go White or Pritchard?
Both?
One, we can go both if you want.
Boston plays all their guards a bunch of minutes, but now none of them are available.
Right.
So
I'll plug Pritchard in just for now. We'll see what we can do for money. So I got Pritchard, Bane, Edwards. 6K per position here. Did you want to go Şengün?
Şengün, probably Şengün.
Okay, Şengün. Yeah. 5,500 a player for a power forward, guard forward, utility.
We know that Houston value is there to us. We don't know the Tari Eason side of things, but we know the KJ Martin, Eric Gordon side is available to us if we wanted to.
So do you think KJ Martin had more benefits? The minutes have been there anyways.
He's been good with Porter out.
Right. Does he get a better bump with Jabari out, do you think? Or
I mean, he took more shots without Jabari. He had more rebounds, but like also 7+ rebounds in 4
he does
straight.
more than Eric Gordon,
points.
I guess that's true.
He's been good. I mean, I'm Eric Gordon has the biggest bump on the team without Kevin Porter.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Like Eric Gordon gets the bigger usage bump. KJ Martin's production's been a little better. So
sure. We'll go Martin for now. If we need the money, we can move it around. We have 5,600 for a guard forward utility here. We could play both Boston guards. We could play Hoarder, get the other side of that Memphis-Sacramento game. Conley at 5,300 against Charlotte is also in that range.
Sexton 44, Richardson 45. Yeah. That's a great game environment too. Diallo, but we don't really have confirmation on. Or forward we could do Sohan 46, Keegan Murray 44, Clark 43.
Let's get exposure to Memphis, Sacramento. So Keegan's at 44. We have 6,200 for a guard and a utility play. Was there a 7K guy that we liked for sure?
I like Jalen Green if Jabari Smith is out. I know he's been up and down, but it's actually a really good spot for Houston. Like pace up spot. Jalen Green is just like so up and down. He had like his best game of his career followed by his worst game of his career back.
Well, we can do Jalen Green and Sohan. So if we do Pritchard, Bane, Edwards, Martin, Şengün, Green, Murray, Sohan, it gives us 3 Houston, Martin, Şengün, Green. Of course, if Tari Eason starts, we would pivot off of Martin, KJ Martin probably, and play Tari Eason there. It'd open up an additional like $1,200, and we could figure out something else at utility. But we can rock with that right now if you think it looks good.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right, that's our play here for at least for now for today. We'll be in the Discord if you have any questions. I believe Dylan Clemens is on the playbook today, and we'll be around. We'll talk to you guys later.